And that was kind of a answer that the Keynesians had to the neoclassicists who said, well, every time you grow aggregate demand, you cause inflation, right? Because everybody watch what I'm doing right now. Short run aggregate supply is upward sloping, and aggregate demand looks like that. What kind of gap is that? Yeah, it's a recessionary gap. And in terms of fiscal policy, what would a good Keynesian do? You could do what? What's fiscal policy? Okay, what? Changes in government spending and taxes. Okay, so to close this gap, what would you do to government spending? Do what? Increase it. Not lower, increase. Right? Aggregate demand is made up in part of government spending. So this gets bigger, it shifts this way. Bringing the economy in theory back into equilibrium, right? But what just happened to price level? Increase. What's an increase in price level called? Inflation. Okay, so that's why. Now, what change in taxes would have also shifted that to the right? Yeah, somebody went like that. That is the correct answer. Decrease in taxes. So an increase in government spending or a decrease in taxes would shift aggregate demand. Okay, so be able to think that through. So, like, if I were to ask you something like, if the short run aggregate supply curve is upward sloping, okay, a decrease in price level. So that's P1, Q1. A decrease in price level is going to have what effect? It's going to decrease what? The quantity of real GDP. That's what that is. You see that? What effect would an increase in price level have? It would increase the quantity of real GDP. You see that? When you're taking your exam, you see something that looks like this? What is that? It's a hint. What do you probably want to put in there? Probably want to draw a graph. And since we're talking about the aggregate supply, aggregate demand model, you probably want to put something like this in here. Short run aggregate supply, aggregate demand. Okay, so let's talk about this term, because I think I mentioned it in passing, but I didn't explicitly mention it. What's a supply shock? It's something that affects which one of those curves?
Supply.
Aggregate supply, ding, 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 ding. The supply shock, right, affects the aggregate supply curve, short run. Can supply shocks be positive and negative, or are they always negative? They can be positive or negative. Now, mostly they're negative, right? And what's the word adverse mean? Good or bad?
Bad.
Bad. So an adverse supply shock would be a bad supply shock. What is a bad supply shock going to do there? What's going to shift? Let's talk about a bad supply shock. COVID, right? The entire world shuts down. That's a bad supply shock. Meteor comes and wipes out an entire country. Look, I don't want to scare you, okay? But if a meteor were to come and take out the country of Colombia, what would go away overnight.
Columbia.
Don't say cocaine. Coffee. Coffee, that would be horrible, right? An adverse supply shock. Which way is that going to shift? Right or left?
Left.
Everybody point. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Point. Okay. Point that way. That is the correct answer. Adverse would have that kind of. And what effect would that have on price flow?
Increase.
Increase. What about quantity real GDP?
Decrease.
Not too bad so far, Mr. Dixon. It's actually not bad. I'll just skip to the one everybody is familiar with, okay? And that's the calculating equilibrium in a 3-sector economy. Okay, so look, let's just hold on a sec. I can't do, my wife's right, I can't do 2 things at once. I'm typing now, so. Scooby-Doo, I heard a football team. Go Mean Green.